a good one on Sunday when Saquon Barkley and the Eagles take on Derrick Henry and the Ravens. Saquon has been a man amongst boys with a record-setting game against the Rams this past week. Sunday, Saquon rushed for a franchise record 255 yards on his own. Meanwhile, his former team, the Giants, were only able to generate 76 total rushing yards as a team in a blowout loss to the Bucs. All right, Jeff is back. Kimberly's here.
Back.
Stephen A. is going to be on your screen in a second, and I'm coming to you, Mad Dog.
Yes, I'll make it quick so these guys can scream at me. Want me to make it quick?
What's the question? What's the question? Let her ask the question.
You can't
Mom
even help
is
Just
hosting the show.
Just go.
The hater.
Do whatever.
The hater's about to say.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
The idea that you two think that the Giants made this awful mistake with Saquon Barkley with the running back because now they can't run the ball. What? No, they didn't. You can't pay this guy $30 million a year, whatever he was going to get paid when you're a lousy football team. Having a great running back in the NFL on a bad team is like having a great closer on a baseball team when you win 70 games. Last year, the Giants with Barkley were 6-11. This year, if you look at the Giants' record right now, they're 2-9. What, they're going to be 4-7 with Barkley? You're going to give them 2 wins? What? No, you're not. Maybe they win an extra game. They didn't need this running back. And listen, he's great. He's in a perfect situation. Don't get me wrong. But running backs in this spot, he walked into a perfect location.
Wow.
Giants stink. They had Barkley last year. They were 6-11. So now they would have made a difference between what, Jeff, may I ask?
They made the playoffs with Barkley. You realize that, right?
1 year.
I'm just saying.
He was there for 6 years. 1 year they made the postseason. And they got smoked by Philly.
Can I just say, this is my issue with this argument. Sometimes people like Mad Dog, executives, they get a little too cute. They look at, the position or the role that person fills, like, they're asking for too much, without actually evaluating the intangibles that that person brings, that player, that employee. They look and say, they just do that. A running back, not worth all that money, except you devalue everything else Saquon Barkley was in that locker room. He was a leader. He was a guy. And right now we're looking at that team wondering, where are the leaders? You have a rookie wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, talking about, I've seen enough. I've had enough with this loser behavior, right? Like, we can't get me the ball. We look terrible on the field, and it's not the quarterback. Saquon Barkley was bigger than just a running back. And the moment I knew the Giants were in a world of trouble is when they allowed the Hard Knocks footage to be aired on HBO.
That was foul.
That was when I knew, okay, this is going to be bad, because they allowed that to be aired, and it allowed them to show the conversations of them being dismissive about Saquon and his value. They were like, I don't know, I hear rumors that the Eagles are into it, but I don't see that happening. And look what has happened. Yes, he is valuable on the Eagles, not saying that he would have had the same production on the Giants, but when we look at him, it's more than being a running back, and that's what is frustrating to me about how they treated his exit.
Go ahead, Jeff. I'm going to wait. I'll let you go first, Jeff.
So I'm going to say this about Doggy. You would be a great front office guy.
Would he?
Yeah, great front office guy. Because the arrogance that you would be carrying through, the hater that you operate with, qualifies you to be a great front office guy. You're going to this is my favorite part. Do you think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback this year with Saquon Barkley on his team?
But he's also got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
No.
He's
Okay,
healthier.
I understand that.
All that.
Okay, but does Saquon make him a better quarterback?
Yes.
Okay, so if Saquon stays in Giant land with Daniel Jones and now with Neighbors, you don't think they're that you could probably still work and find function with Daniel Jones. You can probably find function with when you start getting rid of your best players.
Never good.
This is what happens in a locker room. Everybody starts looking around and go, wait a minute. Dudes who are significant ballers, Lawrence, now gone. McKinney, now gone. Saquon, now gone. All my best players are walking out because we're good enough. This is the Jerry Jones argument for not going to get Derrick Henry. Well, he wouldn't do the same thing here that he's doing in the Baltimore. You'll never know because you were too cheap to go do it. The Giants now know, but they were too cheap to go make it happen.
They were going to have to pay him, Jeff, $25 million a year.
So pay him and build around him. Build around him.
And what was their record last year with him on the team?
6-11.
Okay, how many times did they make the playoffs?
Neighbors wasn't there. They went and got Neighbors, who is a freaking dog.
He's also missed 3 games with concussions. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay, so you can never negate injury. I get that, but you would be a significantly better team.
Playoff team?
Had you maybe?
Oh,
I mean, are the Cowboys any good?
Well, they're not making the playoffs.
Are the Commanders world beaters? So are you saying they couldn't be in the conversation
No,
had they kept
would not
their
be.
best players?
No, they'd be a little better.
Okay,
They would
so,
not be
but
a
you
playoff
got to
team.
be much better to be a playoff type team
You
in
got to
that
win
division.
10 games. This is not a 10-win team with him on it.
Okay, because of the Eagles having Saquon, now the Eagles don't have Saquon. How good are the Eagles still a 12-win?
Well, that's
you don't
a different
know.
argument.
No,
But
I'm saying, but you gave
your
the person in your division the best player on your team.
2 years ago, the
Oh,
Eagles
my.
got to the Super Bowl.
Who?
Did they have, 2
Eagles?
years ago,
Yeah.
the Eagles got to the Super Bowl. Did Saquon Barkley on the team?
Oh,
What happened last
oh my-
year?
oh
Well,
my
last year
word.
they made the playoffs. They
Okay,
still won. They
listen.
should have won the division. They lost 5.
They
They
won-
were 10-1.
Yeah,
They were 10
and then what happened?
My point to you,
Sirianni.
My point to you, no.
Both-
My
yeah,
point
that's
to
tough.
you is this: have you kept Saquon on the team?
Yeah.
The Eagles aren't better, and you are better. But
Uh,
here's the arrogance of all of the Giants organization. We're going to be just as good without. We can find a guy. They're replaceable. Everybody's replaceable until you see those cats go over there and make plays for every other team except the Giants. Do you think maybe the Giants have screwed this up and not the players?
Thank you. Stephen A.
Stevie?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, Jeff is absolutely right. Doggy's wrong, clueless, out of his
Yes.
mind.
Oh, you guys are
Nothing new
crazy.
there. Nothing new there. Here's where it gets. But here's the point that I didn't hear any of you bring up that I'm going to bring up. You're talking about the Giants and their arrogance. It's deeper than that. You were trying to camouflage a mistake. Daniel Jones' record with the New York Giants as a starter, nearly 6 years, is 22-44-1. He was awful. After you gave him $160 million, $40 million a year, he won 3 of 16 games that he started. What you were doing as a Giants organization was trying to gloss over the fact that you gave the wrong dude the money.
Right.
Doggy,
He's a
Saquon was never
quarterback.
in line to get 30. Yeah, but Doggy, Saquon was never in line to get $30 million a year. He's a running back. You were talking 14 to 16 that he was in pursuit of. He would have settled at 13, okay? The fact of the matter is that when you consider the money you could have saved and what you could have utilized to add additional talent to the squad, if you had evaluated correctly, you pay Saquon, but you recognize that you got to piecemeal or patchwork the quarterback position because
Right.
Daniel Jones ain't the answer. You could have done that. And I ain't even talking about keeping Daniel Jones and how he would look with Saquon and Naples. I'm talking about getting rid of Daniel Jones because
Sure.
it was clear he wasn't ready to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. You could have done that and invested the money elsewhere. But instead of acknowledging that, they went all in because they had elected to invest in Daniel Jones. That made things harder for Saquon. And to justify the Daniel Jones signing, and you shoved aside Saquon and you acted like we'll be fine without him. And that's why everybody is looking at the New York Giants and saying this is chickens coming home to roost.
All right, let me ask you a question, to be fair. What did you
Yes.
want the Giants to do? Jones had 306 yards passing, 75 yards running. They won a playoff game on the road against
Why?
Minnesota.
Why? Because of run.
No, he had. I just gave you. He had 306 yards on the passing and 75. He had 400 yards of. He played
Hold it,
great
Dougie.
in the
Dougie,
Minnesota
stop.
game. You
Hold
didn't
it.
know that.
Hold
He
it.
played great,
Hold,
Joe.
hold it, Mad Dog. Dougie, you just finished saying a few minutes ago that they got romped in the playoffs by Philly.
I didn't say that.
So
today.
which one is it? Yeah, you did.
Not
Yeah, you
today.
did. That's exactly what you said. So the point is, you want to point to the one playoff victory, but you don't want to point to the following week
Didn't
where he
Minnesota
got
miss a field
humbled
goal?
and looked like trash.
No, they did not.
Which one is it? Which one? Look at me, Dougie.
4-yard
Look,
pass.
Dougie, I'm right here. No, look right here at me. Don't hide. Wait, look right here. Well, where was that? Where was that? Did they get stomped in the playoffs the next week?
They did.
Didn't
They
he
did.
look? Didn't he look awful the next week? How you gonna bring up Minnesota but forget what happened the following week?
I mean, geez, you got to give them a little break. The Eagles are much better. The Giants, what would you want them to do?
Okay.
You especially should know this. Without a quarterback, you are not winning in the NFL.
Do they-
finally had a guy who won a big playoff game.
He's
They
not-
gave him
he's
a
not-
contract.
I get it.
He's
I
not a
honestly-
good quarterback
listen,
yet.
I don't even mind them paying him. My issue is you don't pay him like he can carry your football team, though, and you dang sure don't let the talent around him go. The problem is
by the way,
that he's
Dougie,
a better quarterback
Jeff.
because Saquon.
Yes.
And by the way, how many games did they
numbers were
win
so different when
going
Saquon played.
outside
Hold it, guys.
because he would zone read and pull it? Now you take the running back. There's no more zone read. You don't have a running back to worry about.
Don't forget this. Don't forget this, Jeff. Don't forget this. You paid Daniel Jones 40. Tampa Bay paid Baker Mayfield 33. You couldn't have got Daniel Jones for less. You couldn't have given him less. And if he wanted more, you couldn't have told him to go kick rocks, let somebody else make that investment. You could have signed Baker Mayfield.
Doggy, you're dead wrong.
Oh,
I don't know how.
gosh.
You're
I
done.
love you,
You're
but
done.
the problem is you are
100% right.
stuck. You are stuck on he's a running back and you don't pay running backs.
You
and
don't.
this is the problem.
Oh, my
Yeah.
word.
This is the Jerry
Yeah.
Jones of it all.
That's
Here's
like
the-
dude,
here's
he's
the
not
issue.
black and
Hey,
white.
Mel
There's
Kiper.
outliers.
Mel
Life
Kiper.
is gray. It's not black
Hey,
and
Mel
white.
Kiper. Not all players are
Now you
created
brought me Mel Kiper.
are created
That's not
equal.
fair.
Okay, they're not all created equal. There are some running backs who are worth getting paid. Okay, so my question to you would be: you think this is like a Jared Goff argument? Would Goff be the same quarterback without Montgomery and Gibbs behind him,
Well, now
even
you
with
gave
the
him
receivers?
now you gave him two.
Okay, but just give him Gibbs. Just
Give him Gibbs,
Just
honestly.
give him Gibbs or just give him Montgomery. Either way, it changes the dynamic of quarterback play.
All right, Led.
So with Jones, when you take away his best, his literal like
Jim
go
Irsay calling you.
to,
Fix
go
the
to.
phone.
That's my son. My son really truly understanding his dad works.
Yeah.
So if you understand how important and how vital your run game is for a guy who can't carry your
Well,
team.
let me ask you a question.
he
It's
is
massive.
backup.
Do you value a face of the team?
They were
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Do you? Because
I
who's
think
the
it's
face
low.
of the team?
The face
Oh,
of
you
the
do?
team is always the quarterback.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Good
No.
teams.
No, it's
The face
not.
of the
teams.
team
No,
was
it's
Daniel.
Good teams
Hold
have
on,
good
You're
quarterbacks.
a liar. The face of the team
It's
was,
the
was
quarterback.
Daniel
It's
Jones.
not.
It wasn't Saquon Barkley.
All right,
No.
but on good teams,
but-
the
but-
quarterbacks
no,
because
TJ
Jones is
Watt
not good.
TJ Watt is the face of the Steelers.
They don't have a great quarterback.
Oh my.
Yeah.
The great. What was the record last year?
6-11.
6-11.
Yeah.
He's a year older. So you want them to go do what? Pay him a 20. What do you get for the Eagles?
He's a
$22
year
million?
older. Who
Yeah,
cares?
whatever it is.
Some
So
of us
you-
get better with
So
age.
whatever it is,
And what's
whatever it is.
so what would their record be this year with Barkley?
Maybe who knows?
Who knows?
8-8?
We'll never know.
They haven't played
We'll never
16
know.
games yet.
I
They've
mean-
played 11 games.
I mean-
What would their record be, Jeff?
5 and 6.
I don't even think that. You're going to give him 4 extra wins? 3
Yeah,
extra wins? No,
he's
you're
a
not.
beast.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
He's
Not fair.
literally.
Oh.
Did
We
you,
are literally-
did you watch him this past week? Breaking records? I was just
You're
curious.
not
Did you
watching
see
it.
that game?
I did 255 yards. I watched that. Why was he in the game at 30-14 and 4 minutes to go?
I'm betting the single season record will go all the
But
way. Don't try to
Dougie-
pull them out.
Why was he in
Keep 'em.
there?
Keep
That's
'em.
nonsense.
Doggy,
Keep
you
'em.
cannot watch Saquon this year and still make
He's
the
great.
argument.
We agree.
Right.
But the
How-
Giants had so many other
so
issues.
you think the Giants are so good they should let go of their best talent?
A running back in his 6th
No.
year who's only got a
Stop.
couple of years to
Stop
go.
calling
I'm okay
him
with
a
it.
running back. Stop it.
Well,
He is
running
a
backs are
playmaker.
important.
Stop
Okay.
it.
How many great running backs did she had?
They
won 3 Super Bowls.
Pacheco,
He's not
Oh,
great.
don't
Oh,
try
my
And
to
this
say
year he's
it.
not even playing.
Mad
They're 10-1.
Dog, Mad Dog, you
Then
are
when he
looking
comes
me.
back, they'll be
Hold up.
closer.
Mad Dog.
Go to North Carolina.
Hey,
Yes.
they
Mad
brought
Dog,
Hunt
hold
back.
on. Mad Dog, how many times have you sat here and said, oh, Randy Moss, you don't need a playmaker,
You
you
don't.
don't need a number 1 receiver.
You don't.
What do you need? I've asked you this 8,000 quadrillion times. You said a running game and defense.
You need a
and that's
quarterback.
what wins championships. And that's what wins championships. So now you're gonna flip it?
You need a quarterback.
I'm
They
done
were
with you.
6-11 last
You're
year,
talking
guys.
about-
Oh my God! And they had 2-9 this year. They would maybe 2 extra games. So they would not be a playoff team.
But this is
Jeffrey.
what I don't understand. You keep talking about the importance of a quarterback. The quarterback in question is Daniel Jones.
Right, I
Right.
understand that.
We knew who we had.
Daniel Jones, whose stats were literally propped up by Saquon Barkley, their playmaker, not just their running back.
Yeah.
So you keep talking about quarterback. It's not like we've seen other teams go out. Stephen A. mentioned Baker Mayfield. You could have gotten other options. You didn't have to spend $40 million.
Let me
Well,
guess
yeah.
you at the Rams Monday
They only
night.
gave him 2 years. So
Right.
let's be fair. They didn't give him 160. They gave him 80 million guaranteed. It was a 2-year deal.
Right.
So they were fair with that contract. They didn't give him 275
I
million.
don't even have a problem with the Daniel Jones contract. I understand that, but you realized his
Your
limitations.
issue is Barkley.
Yes,
Okay.
Barkley.
All right.
Keep the best players in the locker room. Help him be a player. He's
I
not
need
good
to
enough
take a
to
break.
carry.
That's like saying we'll just get rid of
You-
Stephen A.
I
and have
need a
Mad
break.
Dog do it.
You
Show.
bailed
I
on Jones
need a-
5 minutes ago,
I need a
breaking news,
moment.
and now all of a sudden you want to make Barkley the greatest player in the world? You're hot stuff. They're both.
You're hot
You're
Well,
hot
hold on,
stuff.
No, sir.
I have to go break.
I'm marveling at the inconsistencies in Doggy because on one
Yes.
hand, here he is about a running back. But when Dak Prescott gets paid, Doggy talked about how the market says you have to pay these guys. But damn it, why does it do that? Why just because you're a quarterback that you automatically have to get an X amount of dollars because the market says you got to evaluate these guys and determine whether or not they're worth it. But here we are, we bring up Daniel Jones and what he clearly wasn't worth. And now Doggy wants to sit up there and say, well, you know what? It's not about Saquon.
You know what,
it's
Mad
about
Dog?
Saquon Barkley. He's all over the place. He's all over the place.
You're just a radio host, so I think you should just get paid like
Hater.
any other radio host.
Radio host.
out there. All radio hosts should get paid the same because there's no. It's just the position.
I move the needle.
It's just the position. Oh, Saquon doesn't. He just breaks records. I'm done with all of y'all. Let's go to break.